morning, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here to the channel, my name is Josh Elbow. If you are new, I want to say make sure you subscribe so you get more videos when these come out about personal finance and business. But I hate making you all wait, so let's get started. So in the video today, I'm going to be going over a couple things from last week, as well as things that I have coming up. For starters, I finished 2 books last week, Yes by Robert Cialdini, which is a book on persuasion, as well as Killing Sacred Cows by Garrett Gunderson, which is a book about overcoming financial myths. So I'm planning to have 2 book reviews dropping later in the week on both of those. Also, for all my business owners, I'm going to be dropping a couple videos this week about credit hacking stuff, on new things that I've learned, specifically going over things that I'm teaching in the mentorship program that I'm running. And that video is about $750 a year cash in your pocket, so definitely stay tuned for that one. I'm going to be doing one video on mindset when it comes to selling on Mercari, eBay, Amazon, Facebook Marketplace, Poshmark, whatever the case may be. But the main thing that I'm going to be talking about in this video specifically is oddly why I'm not a fan of selling on Mercari. So for whatever reason, when I look at my analytics on YouTube, the videos that get 3 to 4 times more views than the normal videos, which I wish it was the opposite way around, but I have to listen to the marketplace, are videos on Mercari. Selling on Mercari, what happens if you get banned, stuff like that. Now, I was using Mercari big back in 2017, selling a lot when I was traveling between Alabama and Florida, but I don't use it at all now. I don't even like the platform now. I've been banned on it plenty of times. I can do coaching on it, but I prefer not to, because I think there's a lot better options. And that's the main takeaway I want you all to get from this video. Now, as I've said in other videos, if you're doing less than $5,000, Mercari is a viable option because it's very, very user-friendly for extremely beginner stuff. But once you get past the 5K mark, let's call that $60,000 a year in revenue, you're already paying 10% directly up front, not including inventory, not including taxes, directly to the platform site. So let's call it on $5,000 a month, $60K a year, 10% $6K. Not including taxes, 20 to 30%. So now you're at like $25,000 already out of pocket before you even account for inventory. So that $60,000 you had, which you might have been happy with if you're 18 years old, just turned into half that, not including inventory. And when you're selling a product, usually the margins are only 20, let's say maybe 60%, which in my opinion is not worth it whatsoever. So instead, I think the much better option would be either starting a service-based business, because you could use that exact same $6,000 towards ads. And even if you get a 2-for-1, which I think would be an absolutely awful job on ads, getting a 2-for-1 return on them, let alone a 10-to-1 or 9-to-1 or 14-to-1 or a 80-to-1, depending on how good of a marketer you are or how good of a marketing team you hire, which is even smarter, which I'm finally learning and moving into. But with marketing, you can get a way higher and quicker dollar return for what you're spending and putting into the business versus spending that on a site that's going to charge you 10% of everything you make up front, no matter what. Now, again, I'm fine. I love the idea of, at least if you're on Mercari, you're starting somewhere, which is a total positive. Like you took that first step in your journey, let's call it. But the next step is going to be a lot less limiting because it's not taking cash flow out of your pocket immediately, which is a huge negative when you're first starting in any type of business endeavor. So the step-by-step strategy would be take the funds that you made on Mercari, put that towards ads, use those ads to sell some type of service. The easiest one I see is a consulting service. If you taught other people how to sell on Mercari and then you got paid for the service, so one, it's 100% margin, not including the fact that you have to spend the money on ads. But if you know that you can say, let's say you did $50,000 in sales on Mercari, and you think you can teach somebody to do at least 10% of that. You think you can teach somebody at a minimum. If you do awful at your job, at a worst case scenario, you can show them how to make at least 10% of that 50K, 5K, take half of its margin, so 2.5K. Within the next year, you have full confidence. I'm trying to make this so fucking easy for you. In the next year, you have 100% certainty confidence that if you show somebody that actually is willing to do the work, how to make $2,500 profit, after you just did $50,000 yourself within the next year, let alone we already know that there's a guarantee of $5,200 in incentives, giveaways from banks, from brokerage accounts, from Coinbase has one coming out. I guess I'm going to drop a video about the Coinbase stuff too, because that's like $160 in an hour about that I paid somebody to do this week. So of course, why would I spend my time doing the laboring for $160 an hour when I know I can make phone calls and make 10x plus on that? So I'll make another video about that. So without getting too off topic. But if you can teach 10 people a month and charge them each $1,000 a piece, it might not be 10 people at $1,000 the first month. That's fine though. That's nothing to get discouraged about. It might be no people for the first 3 months. Usually when it's no people in consulting, it means you're not reaching out to new people daily, or the pitch isn't there. But the only reason people say no is because they don't see the value in what you're presenting. If they have to cash outlay dollars immediately to get that. So you could always work based on results too. Because if you just show, like realistically, screw the online sales coaching. If you know that every single person you get in front of you can make at least $1,000, because just the banking incentive and the credit incentives, the average person I talk to makes $1,100. That's not my main pitch right now. The main pitch that I have going out, I have a funnel being created. I have a funnel being made right now. Shout out Billy Nubbs. Super, super excited about that. I think he's gonna help me hit my first $20,000 day this year. But that's more big picture down the road. But the only key to the consulting side is, one, obviously same thing you do with Mercari. Take that first step, take action. Reach out to new people. Two, you can use your own $50,000 in sales plus to prove that you get results. Three, either work based on the results that the person you're coaching gets, which is a lot of time up front, but long term it pays out if you can afford to do that based on your own current cash flow, whether you have a job paying you or whether you have investments paying your monthly expenses, stuff like that. And then just scale up from there. Use the results of the people that you get and promote those, and then turn it into a numbers game. But I see so much more potential in the coaching side because, okay, let's say you're doing $50,000 a year selling on Mercari, eBay, Amazon. Let's say you have 40 to 60% margins on that. So half of that's nets. You're netting 25K. You could work a minimum wage job 40 hours a week and have a guaranteed $18,000 a year. And if you took the extra, let's say you're a little bit of a go-getter baller and you want to work 70 hours a week, get that second job. Now you're making more and it's guaranteed, so you're not taking any risk of having to do this hard work, which is the thinking and the thought process that goes into selling on Mercari. Whereas if you got one client per week for the rest of the year, you'd make 100% on that $52,000, not including taxes. There's expensing stuff that you can do for the first 3 years, so you claim a loss legally. I'm not a tax expert. Talk to your tax expert about this stuff. From a surface-based business standpoint, I would much rather have 100% of the revenue coming in going towards the business and things that I can spend on to grow the business versus having way too much of that, let's say 50% plus, going towards an inventory, which is why I've never been a fan of products. So there's my take. Hopefully it's helpful. Hopefully this makes you an extra $50,000 this year. As always, thank you so much for watching the video. If you have any specific questions, the best way to get a hold of me is email me at summitsme@gmail.com, or even quicker, I'm usually on Instagram if I have the time. Shoot me a DM on there at @theJoshElbow. I'm always here to help. Thanks so much again. See you all in the next video.